Sorry. Good morning and welcome to the judges, teachers, guests, and participants of Frsis 2025. Now, I'd like to introduce our judges today. The Chief Judge is Associate Professor IRTS Dr. Rumaizah binti Nordin, lecturer from School of Construction and Quantity Surveying, College of Built Environment, University Technology Mara Shah Alam. The second judge is Miss Wan Hasiza binti Osman from SM Sains Sultan Muhammad Jiwa. The third judge is Miss Rusaidah Osman from SM Sains Sultan Mahmud. And I, Muhammad Shazmi Fadrullah bin Shafi'i from SMSS Banting, while the timekeepers are Nurul Tatiana Anastas Shukri Bok and Nur Fatihah binti Abdul Karim are from Sekolah Menengah Sains Kuala Selangor. Now, allow me to read the rules. Each team should consist of presenters and a technical assistant. The presentation must focus on the sub-theme assigned to the team. The duration of the presentation should not be more than 10 minutes. The bell will be rung once at the 9th minute and twice at the 10th minute. A question and answer session will be conducted after each presentation. Now, I would like to invite the team from Sekolah Menengah Sains Selangor to present.
Assalamualaikum and a very good morning, Abid, to the moderator, vice judges, timekeepers, rapporteurs, and everybody present here. I, Khairul,
I, Imtiaz.
I, Heidi.
I, Sena.
are here to present our findings titled Tech-Driven Ecotourism in Malaysia, a sustainable model for green innovation and economic growth. Ladies and gentlemen, before we dive in, let's set the stage with a brief video. As you just saw, Malaysia is incredibly beautiful. So, how do we ensure our tourism growth is sustainable? Sustainable ecotourism is responsible travel that conserves the environment, supports local well-being, and educates visitors. A prime example is Sukau Rainforest Lodge in Sabah, minimizing impact, employing locals, and contributing to conservation. Malaysia's tourism is a vital economic driver, contributing 8.6% to GDP and employing 4 million in 2023. We are targeting 35.6 million arrivals by 2026. However, this growth, if unchecked, poses significant environmental risks. A 1% rise in tourist arrivals correlates to a 0.42% increase in carbon dioxide emissions, threatening our sensitive habitats, which is based on Malaysia Tourism Promotion Board 2021.
Malaysian tourism development hasn't always been sustainable. Studies on Perhentian and Redang Islands show negative environmental impacts on water, wildlife, and air quality, whereas over-tourism in Georgetown and Cameron Highlands leads to overcrowding, waste, and infrastructure strain. Issues like deforestation, sewage pollution, and poor waste management highlight a clear sustainability gap. Ladies and gentlemen, comparing Malaysia to other global leaders reveals insights. For example, Costa Rica, which prioritizes high-value, low-impact sustainability with strong policy and community involvement. Singapore, on the other hand, excels in urban sustainability, leveraging technology to enhance visitor experiences and manage resources efficiently within a compact space. While not a traditional ecotourism destination in the same vein as rainforests, their smart city approach offers valuable lessons for integrating tech into tourism infrastructure, which Malaysia can adapt for urban and semi-urban tourism hubs like Johor Bahru, where competing objectives between economic and environmental concerns have been identified. Norway emphasizes pristine nature, wilderness experiences, and advanced environmental monitoring. Ladies and gentlemen, Malaysia's push for higher visitor numbers must be balanced with rigorous sustainable practices. Our research offers a tech-driven solution to mitigate threats, aiming for higher value per tourist, not just volume.
Our study pursued 5 objectives. Firstly, to analyze tech feasibility like AI, IoT, blockchain, and green tech. Secondly, to assess financial viability through cost-benefit analysis. Next, to propose a multi-source funding model, design a phased action plan, and finally, to evaluate socio-economic and environmental impact. Our methodology combines qualitative case studies of global leaders to inform best practices, quantitative cost-benefit analysis using financial data and ROI, interviews with environmental technology specialists, and a comprehensive policy review of Malaysian green tourism regulations, including NTP 2020 to 2030, GTMP, and new ESG certification for hotels. This highlighted strong policies, but also inconsistent implementation.
Our solution is built on a public-private community partnership, which is known as PPCP. Here, firstly, we propose the government provides crucial regulatory support, tax incentives, and infrastructure investment, overcoming fragmentation in sustainable tourism planning. Secondly, private sector which drives innovation and investment in smart resorts and EVs. We aim to align profit motives with long-term environmental sustainability. And lastly, local communities that actively participate, benefiting from employment and training, and addressing historical challenges of limited local access and benefits.
Ladies and gentlemen, based on the results of our findings, our model leverages transformative technologies for real world impact. Firstly, AI and Internet of Things, also called IoT, for smart waste management and real time environmental monitoring in places like Taman Negara, directly addressing plastic pollution and optimizing resource use. Secondly, blockchain, which is essential for secure eco certification and transparent carbon credit trading, combating greenwashing and enabling transparent carbon offsetting. Thirdly, EV transport like electric vehicles and AI optimized routes minimize carbon footprints and reduce congestion in areas like Cameron Highlands. And last but not least, the use of ecotourism apps utilizing AR and VR for immersive educational experiences, raising biodiversity awareness and encouraging responsible engagement. Now, ladies and gentlemen, our estimated 10 years costs are between 50 to 100 million ringgit, determined through market research, vendor quotes, expert consultations, and our phased implementation scale. The key investments include AI and IoT, drone, blockchain, EV transport, digital training, and eco apps. These are significant, but the benefits are far much greater. Our expected benefits for 10 years is between 5 to 10 billion ringgit, including increase in tourist spending value over zero point 0.5 to 1 billion ringgit from high value ecotourism. Next is job creation value over zero point 0.2 to zero point 0.5 billion ringgit, empowering local communities. Next is energy and resource savings value over 50 to 100 million ringgit from efficient management. And lastly, carbon emission reduction valued at 100 to 300 million ringgit annually, supporting Malaysia's climate goals. Now, on the other hand, our projected return on investment, which is ROI, is between 900 to 1,900% over 10 years, indicating a highly profitable and long-term investment. This is calculated as the ROI equals to the total benefits minus the total cost over the total cost times with 100. For instance, a 900% ROI means that a 9 ringgit net return for every 1 ringgit invested.
To ensure financial viability, we propose a multi-source green financing model. First, we leverage government grants. Next, we turn to public-private investment. In addition, we plan to issue green bonds and ESG investments, tapping Malaysia's robust sustainable finance market. Moreover, we propose tourist eco fees for direct conservation funding. And lastly, carbon credits for monetizing environmental efforts. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me walk you through our action plan. Our action plan is phased into 3 phases. Phase 1, which will take around 0 to 2 years. In this phase, pilot programs and early adoption is implemented. Government provide incentives for tech adoption in high potential areas like Langkawi, Sabah, and Taman Negara. Phase 2, which will take about 3 to 5 years, will emphasize expansion and scaling. For example, private investment in EV transport, blockchain certifications, green bonds, and community crowdfunding. Phase 3, which will be done in the 6th year or it's up to 10 years, is when we apply full integration and sustainability. This is why nationwide rollout is done with expanded carbon credit trading and self-sustaining revenue, establishing Malaysia as a mature green tourism destination.
Our model is highly feasible with strategies for key risks. As you can see, first, high initial costs, which will be addressed through PPCP and phased investment supported by media incentives. Secondly, digital skill gap mitigated by robust community training and university collaborations. And lastly, regulatory hurdles resolved with strong policy alignment and continuous interagency dialogue. These are crucial to overcome inconsistencies. In conclusion, tech-driven ecotourism offers Malaysia a viable path in sustainable growth, enhancing our sector while preserving biodiversity. This model ensures financial sustainability, environmental protection, and social equity, firmly aligning Malaysia with global green development goals. It's a proactive solution to realize truly responsible tourism, addressing its target of 9.1 and 9.4 of the 9 Sustainable Development Goal.
And finally, ladies and gentlemen, by embracing innovation, we can cultivate a thriving ecotourism industry that champions both progress and preservation for generations to come. And with that,
We
thank
thank you.
I would like to invite the participants to ask questions.
Thank you. Allow me to ask some question. So my question is, in what ways does your ecotourism model incorporate green bonds as a funding mechanism, and how do they support long-term sustainability? Thank you.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you for your wonderful question. So, um, green bond is a key role in our funding model by providing long-term and environmentally crucial, focused, environmentally focused uh, uh, tourism in ecotourism development. These bonds attract investors who are committed to sustainability, and on the other hand, these funds are strictly for green initiatives like EV infrastructure, smart resorts, and smart environmentally monitoring systems.
Okay, let me add to that. By using green bonds, we can ensure financial viability, accountability. We can ensure financial accountability. Next, we can reduce our reliance on public funds, and we can also support projects that brings that brings benefits to environmental and economic efforts. Thank you. That's all my answer.
Now, I would like to invite the judges to ask questions.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, sorry. Okay, first of all, congratulations on the presentation.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
5 objectives, right? Huge. Okay. Um, just a simple question from me. Yeah? When you propose this research, who or what agency that you actually think of in proposing this tech-driven ecotourism in Malaysia? The whole 5 objectives, the whole apa tu? The whole proposal, the IoTs, the policy. So who or what agency that you actually aim for to pitch this idea?
Because kita basically cakap tak, kita akan cakap pasal private community. So kalau cakap private, kita propose first, we propose to the government. Lepas tu private companies private companies, petroleums. Aku we've discussed this before. Yes. Aku rasa aku tanya cakap macam because this definition of private community. Okay. So, thank you for your question. So, our model is actually based on a public-private community partnership. So, of course, for the first agencies that will be proposed is to the government. So, we include ideas that we want the government to propose tax incentives and like Sena just presented just now. And other than that, for private sector, it's actually like private companies like Petronas, which handles products like using products like oil and gas and so on. Also for the community, we'll engage we'll propose the ideas to public community and share the benefits if we apply this model to Malaysia's tourism, what will happen and the benefits to the community and so on.
Okay, dah masa dah. Okay. Sorry. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the insightful presentation. I would like to invite the next school, Sekolah Menengah Sultan Abdul Halim, to present.
Alexa. Test.
That's my 1, 2, 3. 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 Yes. Assalamualaikum and a very good day I bid to all. Today, we are here as representatives from Sekolah Menengah Sultan Abdul Halim. My name is Adina as the first presenter, Amma as the second, Amina as the third presenter, and lastly Najmi as our tech guy. So, with relation to Frsis 2025 theme, Ecotourism, our group will present you on solid delay, why homestay saying nay. But before that, let's look into the scope of our research, which are ecotourism, homestays in Malaysia, and lastly, solar panel technology. So, what exactly is a solar panel? A solar panel is defined as a photovoltaic cell or a solar cell. It's a non-mechanical device that converts sunlight directly into electricity, as stated by US EIA in 2025. Then, in the next slide, we can see that in relation to SDG 9, Industry, Innovation and Infrastructure, solar technologies like photovoltaic panels are becoming increasingly cost-effective and efficient. Initiatives like the Pathway to Offsetting Carbon Emission demonstrate the tangible benefits of adopting photovoltaic system in tourism, as cited by UNWTO in 2025.
Malaysia's solar energy policy is a multifaceted approach that combines regulatory frameworks, financial incentives, and public awareness programs. This includes National Energy Transmission Roadmap (NETR), Net Energy Metering (NEM), Large Scale Solar Program (LSS), and Energy Efficiency and Conservation Act. This is our literature review that we have picked from the articles that we have researched on. Unfortunately, we have yet to see articles that focuses or highlights on homestays. This significance on solar panel later will become our research gap, particularly if we were to place a small group of target in our local tourism industry in the picture. The installation of solar panel in major tourism premises has been proven to reduce electricity bill and protect the environment. Yet, not many homestay operators in Malaysia opt for solar panel. Why so? This is what we are trying to investigate. This brings us to our second problem statement. The lack of research in solar panel leads to more researches need to be done to determine the true viability of solar panel for homestays in Malaysia.
Our study was carried solely to fulfill this three main objective: to determine the level of awareness of solar panel users in homestays between homestay owners and homestay guests, to compare the level of awareness between these two groups, and to identify possible suggestions to encourage homestay owners and guests to be more interested in solar panel technology.
For our research methodology, we use the quantitative research. Our survey has a total respondent of 212. 174 of it consists of homestay guests, while the remaining 38 being homestay owners. For our questionnaires, it has 4 parts, which consists of 29 items. Questions ranging from a simple yes or no answer to a question with a Likert scale answer ranging from 1 to 5, 1 being strongly disagree, while 5 being strongly agree. Our survey was distributed via Google Form in both the hard copy and the soft copy version. We also conducted an interview with homestay owner to further support our finding. Our samplings consists of 2 groups. The first one being SMSAH students ranging from Form 1 to Form 4, and the second one being homestay owners in Kedah. For our Google Forms, it has 4 parts which consist of 3 domains. And for our data collection, we have distributed the hard copy version of the Google Form to SMSAH students, and we have shared the link of our Google Form in a WhatsApp group for homestay owners in Kedah.
Now, let's look at our data analysis. Based on our demographic profile, which is a qualitative research, we are focusing on 2 main groups, which is homestay guests and homestay operators. Out of 174 of homestay operators, out of 174 of homestay guests, 163 have been to homestay, while for homestay operators, 27 were actual homestay operators, while the remaining 9 were only family members of homestay operators.
A survey item was posed to homestay operators. Do you use solar technology or panels at your homestay? And it was recorded that only 4 of them answered yes, while the remaining 34 responded no. This indicates that nearly 90% of homestay operators do not prioritize the use of solar technology in their accommodation. Then, when asked about their preferences, 81% of homestay guests agree with the statement, I am more interested to rent homestays that have more preferred facilities, like swimming pools and air conditioner. This highlights the importance of trending and comfortable amenities in attracting guests, suggesting that solar technology is never the priority nor a concern to them.
Next, the item electricity bill at homestays can be reduced by using solar panel or devices, receive positive feedback from both groups, with 93.1% of homestay guests and 97.4% of homestay operators agreeing with the statement. This shows that they acknowledge that by using solar technology, it can lessen the financial burden at a certain plot. Lastly, the statement installation of solar technology panel or devices is costly was agreed by 89.5% of homestay operators, which makes sense since the cost of residential solar installation in Malaysia can typically ranges from 25k to 45k based on various factors, not including the maintenance expenses, which can range from 200 to 800 ringgit per visit, as quoted by Buy Solar in 2025. Now, let us watch a video that further strengthens this point.
Ada bercadang tak untuk tambah lagi solar panel tu? Asalnya tak takut. Asal kos tu nak bina tu pun, macam tu pun masa tu pun dah 20,000.
An interview with Puan Resnita, the owner of the Bandung homestay, further strengthened this point, as she had to install as she had to spend 20k to install solar panel in her homestay, only to rid the surrounding of her homestay at night. This explains the hesitation of many homestay operators to install solar panel despite its numerous benefits.
When asked about their willingness to pay more for homestay that uses solar energy, 71.3% of homestay guests disagree. This shows that not a lot of people are actually willing to pay more for homestay that have environmentally friendly features. While for the statement, I am willing to invest more for homestay that uses solar energy, only 44.7% of homestay operators disagree. This shows that homestay operators are actually more open towards investing more of their money for sustainable energy in their homestays.
Now, to determine RO1, that is to determine the level of awareness regarding solar usage in homestays, an inferential data analysis was conducted on two groups, homestay guests and homestay operators. The analysis revealed that homestay guests had a mean score of 3.975, indicating an average high level of awareness, while homestay operators showed a higher mean score with 4.313, indicating a high level of awareness. This explains that while both groups are generally informed about the matter, homestay operators shows a more profound meaning towards the solar usage and its potential benefits. Then, to answer RO2, that is a comparison between the two groups. An unpaired t-test was conducted to identify any significant differences in the level of awareness between the two groups, as mentioned, homestay guests and homestay owners. The analysis revealed an extremely statistically significant difference between the two groups. This shows that the variation in the awareness levels is not due to chance, with homestay operators showing a higher level of awareness compared to homestay guests.
Now, let's look at some suggestions. For the first suggestions, homestay with solar technology should be given more public promotion by the Ministry of Tourism, receive agreement level of 84.5%. This aligns with the finding of Nurziatun ETL 2024, who stated that MOTAC actively support homestay business owners through their services. For the second suggestions, homestay with solar technology should be given more tax assumption by the government, receive agreement level of 69%. Green Investment Tax Allowance actually stated that companies are eligible to tax allowance up to 60%. This dated by 2025. For the last suggestions, homestay operators should be given more subsidies for solar panel installation, receiving agreement level of 71.8%. Pui in 2024 stated that Malaysian government had launched Solaris beginning 1st April last year. It offered cash rebates up to 4,000 ringgit for solar panel installation under NEM for Raya initiative.
To sum up the whole presentation, we have addressed the lack of awareness between these two groups. The first one is homestay guests, and the second one is homestay owners. In this presentation too, we have presented some credible suggestions that aim to help to spur a more proactive measure in our solar-aided homestay industry. It is our hope that the government and the public will show a strong support toward eco-friendly tourism to help lessen the world carbon footprints. This is our references. Before I end this presentation, let us all watch a short clip of our typical homestay in Petra. A homestay is a solar panel in one of their facilities. That's the end of the presentation. Thank you.
I would like to invite the participants to ask questions. Now, I would like to invite the judges to ask questions.
Hello.
Hi.
Okay, first of all, congratulations for your presentation. Now, I would like to ask one question. Okay, you mentioned about being given subsidy by the government. Now, is there any other ways rather than just being given subsidy or being helped by the government in terms of money, okay, in order to really raise the awareness of the homestay owners around Malaysia based on your research or based on your reading?
Thank you for the wonderful questions. To answer your question, we actually think that based on our slide over here, MOTAC, or known for Ministry of Tourism, Art and Culture, could give public promotion to expand the knowledge of others about solar tourism, about sustainable energy in like ecotourism.
Does that answer your questions?
Not really. That's not specific.
Oh.
But I want to know if there's any way we can reach out to specific target people regarding homestay owners or homestay users, especially homestay owners, in order to make it happen. Because when we want to raise awareness, we cannot just ask for help or being given subsidy and stuff like that. So yeah, based on reading, is there any other suggestion that you think will work?
Thank you. We're sorry for the misconception. So we think that they should arrange more programs that involve homestay operators, so that it could that involve homestay operators regarding solar usage in homestays, so that they could have have a more have a more larger scale, larger range of knowledge about solar usage.
Does that answer your questions? Thank you.
Okay, sorry. Okay, I have one question, but very technical in relation to the research process per se. All right. You mentioned that the questionnaire were distributed to homestay owners, homestay guests, and also the student of SMSAH.
SMSAH, yes.
Why the student?
Mm. This is because we don't have a very flexible timetable for us to go out and conduct a survey and ask all the publics. So we reach out to the nearest public and we could find, which is our students, which I think is also a lot and is enough for us to do our research plans on the students. Does that answer your questions?
It did, but I am worried. So was the question same for the homestay owner and guest?
No, the
No.
answer was not same.
question.
The question. Pardon me. The question was not same for both sides. We of course distributed similar questions, but in different fonts lah. In different fonts
Sorry.
between homestay guests and homestay operators.
Different what? Different font?
Different. It's like in a different term.
in a different term. So the objective of sending the question to the student is for them to be the owner or the guest.
uh, uh,
Uh,
for the questions for like our students, for some staff students, it is more based on homestay guests, while for the homestay, like they were distributed from homestay operators, the question is more targeted for homestay owners, something.
Okay, all right, thank you.
thank you.
Show your voice.
Yes.
Now, I would like to invite the next team from Sekolah Menengah Sains Batu Pahat.
Assalamualaikum and good day, Abid, the honorable judges and fellow members of the floor. Sorry.
Now, I would like to invite the next team from Sekolah Menengah Sains Batu Pahat to present.
Assalamualaikum and good day, Abid, the honorable judges and fellow members of the floor. We, the student of Sekolah Menengah Sains Batu Pahat, have been assigned to present on the sub-team under the key phrase, sustainable innovation, shaping the future of eco-friendly tourism. We are here trying to discuss on how to ensure user safety during night trekking while still using clean and renewable energy source. But before we get into it, let me introduce you guys to my teammates. We have Hana Nuzahra, Nuzara, Sri Adilia, Muhammad Haziq bin Helmi, and I, Nur Haizat Zakwan. As you guys can see, as stated by one of this article, a person has lost his life because of poorly unlit nature path at night, which show us the urgency of this situation. Now, as I mentioned previously, where we are trying to discuss on how to adjust user safety during nighttime trekking, we wanted to know the root cause of this problem in the first place. The first problem that we found is that we are still heavily rely on unconventional energy source. Next is the fact that we, as a user, doesn't have any access to a dependable and efficient light source, thus creating a safety concern on on nature users, especially during night time. This is why our research intended to overcome this problem by implementing a more efficient and reliable light source on hiking trail, as well as creating a safer and long-lasting nature path at night. With all the issues we have highlighted, we have come up with the following research question where it will guide us on creating a practical solution to be implemented into the real world. Before we dive into the solution of the problem, I would like to give you guys the general scope of our research, where we would like to provide a solution to the found problem that acted as the fundamental drive of our research. We will also like to fill in the existing research gap regarding about the hybrid noble energy system. Thus, 50 hikers were involved in our research study to evaluate the effectiveness of our solution. Without further ado, let me introduce you guys to our amazing innovation, the EcoTrek tiles. So what is it actually? EcoTrek tiles is an environmentally sustainable product that combines both kinetic and solar energy to produce electricity. Our innovation is intended to be used in national park and nature parks throughout Malaysia. Our innovation actually uses hybrid renewable energy harvesting system where it combines both kinetic and solar energy to produce electricity. During daytime, the solar panel that is integrated into the tiles, we capture sunlight and convert it into electrical energy. This electrical energy will also be stored in a battery. At the same time, we equip the tiles with piezoelectric material that will react with mechanical stress, such which is the hiker's footstep, to convert kinetic energy into electrical energy. The stored power that is collected from solar panel will be used later, specifically during night time, to light up LED lamps by the pathways. Simultaneously, the energy that is also collected from the piezoelectric material will also be stored in a battery or will be used directly to light up nearby lamps. Both energy sources will work together to keep the lamp consistently powered, meaning the lamp will still work without even getting the sufficient amount of sunlight. To give a better understanding, this is a preview of the main component within the tile itself. The surface layer, which is the stepping point of the tile, are made out of tempered glass because of its durability and its ability to allow sunlight to pass through. We also equip with a small solar panel to capture sunlight and convert it into electrical energy. Underground, this is where all the piezoelectric aspects and wiring happens. So you guys are maybe wondering, what is piezoelectric? Piezoelectric is an element that can react with mechanical stress such as vibration and pressure to create electrical charge. Okay.
Now we will move on to the research methodology, in which we use two ways. First, we distributed a questionnaire and also used the ADDIE model to help with our design. This particular model has 4 phases, which is the design phase, development phase, testing and evaluation, and finally, the analysis and phase. In the first phase, we have researched and selected a suitable piezoelectric material, the PVDF, which is a strong polymer, and also a strong solar panel in order for it to withstand our footsteps. Then, we will begin planning the electrical wiring and energy storage within the tile. Finally, so we can properly visualize our product, we will have to create a 3D tile design. Next, we will begin the development phase. In this phase, we will build a prototype combining both the materials we have decided on earlier. Then we will begin the wiring and finishing it off with assembling the system with the LED lights and batteries. After developing, we will have to put it to the test. We intend to test its energy generation in under realistic conditions. Because we reside in Batu Pahat, we plan to test it at Bukit Banang because it is near and it's also a very popular hiking spot. During the test, we will measure its output voltage, charging capacity, and lighting efficiency. Then, we will evaluate its response towards different weathers and different weights, and so we can see how it affects the tile's overall performance. After the test, we will go through an analysis on our findings. This includes the durability of its materials, the output voltage, and its overall performance. In case there was anything wrong, we would have to fix and refine it so it can be better, stronger, and more efficient. Like I said earlier, we distributed a questionnaire. This is because our research design is mainly based on quantitative approach. As stated by Creswell 2021, he stated that this approach is to draw interpretations to achieve the research objectives. So, to collect our respondents' answers, we shared a Google form because it is easy to share with our family and friends. In this form, we used a 3 Likert scale, with 1 being disagree and 3 being agree. We also used a more qualitative approach because we wanted to gain a more authentic response from our hikers. Moving on, let's look at the demographic background of our respondents. A majority of our respondents are hikers ranging from 26 to 35 years old. To the questions, we asked a total of 2 questions in order to achieve our 2 main objectives, which is implementing a sustainable energy source and also providing safer hiking paths in Malaysia. Our first question states that relying on hybrid renewable energy systems are more dependable than relying on the traditional energy systems using diesel and generators. Here we can see that a total of 79.4% of our respondents agreed. Next, we stated that EcoTrek tiles is a great solution in overcoming the safety hazards on nature paths at night. Here, a total of 66.7% of our respondents agreed on this as well. Like I said earlier, we wanted to get a more authentic response. So we distributed 3 seats of the same 2 open-ended questions to 3 of our hikers. First, as you can see here, an HR officer said that it is essential to have a well-designed system and also consistent maintenance so it can contribute to the overall experience for hikers. Next, a lecturer at the University of Reading, Malaysia said that this is an excellent solution to mitigate the anxiety and discomfort to the hiker safety concerns. And finally, a postgraduate at UTM said that it is sustainable and efficient because it reduces the risk of accidents during hiking. All our data has been analyzed in 2 ways. For the quantitative data, we've analyzed it through the SPSS software. As for the qualitative, we've analyzed it through the MaxQDA software.
Now, let's discuss on why our data receives such positive results. A total of 79.4% of our respondents chose to agree when we questioned about the reliance on a sustainable hybrid energy system. This is because our energy system could provide a long-lasting solution, thus contributing to shaping a sustainable future for eco-friendly tourism. Next, a total of 66.7% of our respondents chose to agree when we questioned about applying EcoTrek tiles in hiking paths. This is because our innovation could light the pathway for them, preventing them from straying away from their path and also reducing the risk of accidents. Next, with all the data we have collected, we can conclude that our research could contribute to society in a few aspects. For community, we could reduce the risk of accidents, encourage local and tourists to appreciate green innovations, create jobs and boost local businesses. For policymakers, we could provide a working model of our innovation for future planning in tourism. And lastly, encourage investment in green public infrastructure.
As for ministry, our innovation supports the Green Technology Master Plan 2030, for it aims to reduce the carbon footprint. It will also help Malaysia stand out as a more sustainable destination for tourism. The reason why we want to have this solution is so we can mitigate the problems, especially in remote ecotourism locations at night for hiking.
Therefore, our innovation could enhance safety on hiking trail, especially during nighttime starkly, while still conserving the surrounding environment. In conclusion, our innovation provides a solution that can contribute to shaping a sustainable future for eco-friendly tourism, as well as reducing energy waste, while still promoting green tourism to tourists and locals. That's all from us. Thank you.
I would like to invite the participants to ask questions.
So, based on your studies, how do you prepare for unpredictable weather in Malaysia?
We prepare for the unpredictable weather in Malaysia by using a weatherproof material like aluminium. This is because its durable ability and its ability to withstand extreme weather in Malaysia. This is why we also use 2 energy sources. So the other one can still function perfectly, while the other one is affected by the weather in Malaysia. Is that answer your question? Thank you.
Just for clarification purposes, how does your innovation create more jobs for community?
It create more job because we need to do regular maintenance on our innovation. So this can create jobs for on nature paths to maintain our innovation to work perfectly.
I would like to invite the judges to ask questions.
All right. Okay. I have a question based on your research. Okay. I have a very simple question. Okay. Who will be responsible to install this EcoTrek? Okay.
Since our innovation is aligned with GTMP 2030 Green Technology Master Plan, we can help the government. We can ask help from the government to install the tiles for us. Since our tiles could contribute to reducing the overall carbon footprint in Malaysia, it can help GTMP 2030 achieve its objective.
A simple question related to the research process. So you have your product development process, one, and then you have a questionnaire, and then you have interviews. So how do you actually triangulate or merge the results from the three, or how do you actually did the data collection method? Is it concurrently, or is it one after another?
Our research is done one after another because we planned our design first before presenting it to the people we wanted to question. But more specifically, the questionnaire and the interviews happen at the same time because the questionnaire is a Google form. So it's open for a longer period. And during that period, we also interviewed the people.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the great presentation.
Cek 1 2. Assalamualaikum and good morning to the honorable.
Belum.
Now, I would like to invite SMA Edu Global Bandung, Indonesia to present.
Okay, thank you. Assalamualaikum and good morning to the honorable judges and our respected competitors and to everyone else present in the room. Today, we from Edu Global Senior High School Bandung would like to present you all with our research, which is titled Modernizing Sea-Turtle Ecotourism in Batu Hiu, Sustainable Ecotourism to Raise Awareness. We chose this topic specifically because we are interested in preserving the sea turtle species and whilst also promoting ecotourism. But before that, I would like to introduce you all to the team. First, we have Raihan and Badar as our speakers, Alia as our operator, and I, Adi, as the moderator. Lastly, we also have Mr. Isan as our beloved supervisor. Next, to start it off, Raihan, please take it away.
Thank you, Adi. First of all, let's delve into the background of our studies, which can be divided into 3 parts: Pangandaran, Batu Sea Turtle Conservation, and improvement needed for ecotourism. First up, we must understand what is Pangandaran. Pangandaran Regency, located on the southeastern part of West Java, is a very popular tourist destination, popular for its beaches and scenic canyons. Study shows that most visitors of Pangandaran originated from Bandung city, shows how common it is for us Bandung citizens to visit Pangandaran. One of the locations that pique our interest is a sea turtle preservation and educational center in Batu Hiu Beach. Established back in 2006 by the KPBL community, this location has nurtured and preserved 5 of the 7 sea turtle species in Indonesia. However, due to migration and global warming and other factors, only 2 currently resides here. Unfortunately, from our literature review, we found that many things are needed to be improved, to be modernized in order to achieve what we call sustainable modern ecotourism. For example, facility-wise, it's mediocre at best, with only 1 main pool, 2 smaller pool, and an open hatchery. It's standard, however, it is outdated due to lack of visitors and lack of fundings. And thus, begs the question, what can we improve? What can we modernize to make it more sustainable?
And so that concludes us into the problem statement. We have 3 questions: a which and 2 hows. Firstly, which aspects of the sea turtle conservation itself can be improved and so modernized? Secondly, how can we raise Bandung citizens' awareness about sea turtle conservation? And thirdly, how big of a percentage can a model we make improve the perception of sea turtle conservation itself? That leads us into into the benefits of our research. Firstly, on a practical aspect, we are providing benchmarking tool for opinion, a base idea for real improvement, and a visualization of a newly modernized ecotourism conservation area. So this research was conducted from the 21st of April until the 15th of May, with our methodology being used. To sum it up, we did interviews and we did questionnaires that were spread to the public, which then the data we got from the interviews and questionnaires itself, we made into a model, into an architectural model, and put that model into another questionnaire in which we compared it to the current location itself and gathered whether or not it increased public opinion on the sea turtle conservation itself.
Next up is the result and discussion of our research. First up, delving into the interview part, we interviewed 3 experts in their expertise. First up, Miss Dia, she is the head of Western Java Marine Fishery Department. Secondly, Miss Irma, she is a civil architect. And Mr. Kurdi, the treasurer of Raksa Bintana Foundation, the organization that is currently managing the site. From the interview, we gain regulatory adjustment and conservation zonation from the government. We gain model ideas and design and material used for the location from an architect, and first-hand on-site condition as well as suggestion from one of the staff themselves.
And so that leads us into our questionnaires. Firstly, we did a first questionnaire in which the people who have gone there did a rating on the facilities and the services themselves. And then we had another questionnaire in which we asked whether or not people, the general public itself, were interested in the concept of sea turtle conservation. And to sum it up, according to respondents who have gone there, they had a morally negative experience with the facilities and staff, While people who have gone to Pangandaran weren't as interested in visiting the location as they were with other or destinations. And from a glance, people weren't interested in visiting the site at all due to the current situation.
And after we did our interviews and questionnaire, we analyze it and we make it into a 3D architectural model with the scale of 1 to 100, with 7 main facilities improvement. And after 5 days, we finish our model. Going clockwise, from the bottom, we have the entrance, educational center and auditorium, staff area, sea turtle pools, laboratorium, hatchery, washroom, community-owned cafeteria, and ticket booths and gift shops. We make sure to implement very sustainable action and green action into our model. For example, we have solar panel as our main energy source, modern minimalized design with an open design and various garden, as well as green and eco material, for example, eco bricks, and community involvement conservation zonation, as well as improving remodeling facility needs, for example, bathroom and cafeteria, to be ultimately greener.
This leads us into our last phase, which is the questionnaire and the data comparison. The data we got from the first questionnaire, whether or not people were interested in the site or not, was put into a t-test in which we got the means and had a increase of 46%, which is the public interest on the model itself. So that proves that after we made the model, people were more interested in visiting the site.
And this leads to our conclusion and suggestions.
And so this research examined public interest on Batu Hiu Sea Turtle Life Conservation Center using a mixed methods. Our new ecotourism model increased interest by 46%, and supported by expert inputs on regulations and sustainable solutions, the proposed design significantly boosts the site's appeal and highlights the potential of an ecotourism-based area.
We also make sure that our research is aligned with SGD9. We implement 4 of the 8 SGD9 points, which include infrastructure development, sustainable industrialization, and community involvement, upgrade technology and green innovation, as well as foster innovation and research. And thus, we have our research suggestion for future research, which includes smaller sample size for a more specific and accurate outcome in the percentage, maintain a clear schedule for a more linear and easy research, as well as ensure that sustainable improvement is adapting to modern needs and modern innovation.
And that concludes our presentation. Thank you very much.
I would like to invite participants to ask questions. I would like to invite the judges to ask questions.
All right. First of all, congratulations for the presentation, and also welcome to Malaysia. Ya, semoga aman ya.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Baik. Well, I have one question. Your proposal, your innovation is comprehensive. You check for the problem, and then you suggest the model, and then you ask people what good or what happened after this, after the model. So people are happy and looking forward to this particular area, right?
Yeah.
However, have you thought about how to realize the model?
Realized model.
How do you able to make it a reality to the model?
Okay.
Who will actually take that model and build it?
Thank you for the amazing questions. Okay, for the model itself, we also asked the government and the architect and as well as the staff themselves, what if we were going to realize this location? And the first thing that they said is that this will be a combined effort from the government as well as private sectors, for example, private investor. And because the location is line expanded from the original site, we need a lot of fundings, which the staff themselves said that private sector, private investor are their main target to use and to help create this location, because the government already have their own location conservation. However, it is purely a conservation site in Pangandaran and not ecotourism site. And thus, this location serve as the tourist destination that want to learn about sea turtles, then well, not being harmful to these sea turtles that actually on the pure conservation owned by the government.
Okay, so you have thought about it, like
Yes.
you have discussed about it. Okay. Do you have any just some crazy idea what would be the cost of this
Oh.
particular development?
The cost will be, as back then, will be very high.
All right.
However, this will be very beneficial to the Batu Hiu location in general, because in Pangandaran, Batu Hiu is a bit underrated, as you might say, because this location, the Batu Hiu location, only have this location and a beach that is not as popular as the main Pangandaran beach, and thus by
making this
by
model,
making the model, it will also improve the Batu Hiu location itself. With the budget, I think in rupiah will be around
100 trillion, 1 trillion,
100
1
million plus, 100
100
billion
billion.
plus, which in I don't know how much that is in Ringgit. We are sorry.
All right. Very good. Very good. Okay.
First of all, congratulations for a very, I think, entertaining presentation
you.
for me. Yeah, I'd like to ask about the workforce. Okay, when you propose this idea, okay, how, like currently, how many workers do you have in that conservation area?
Okay, thank you for the question. The current staff in the conservation area, from what we asked the staff themselves, is somewhere between 10 and 20. So it's not that many, and because this location is not fully supported by by the residents in Batu Hiu, and most
Of the staff
most
themselves.
staff themselves actually are volunteers that comes from other regions, and thus by making the community get more involved into the location will benefit their economical aspect as well as the social aspect as well as the sustainability aspect as well.
So do you think, like, how many workers are we going to add up to
okay.
that? All right.
The
If this were to realize. Okay.
Thank you. The worker that's going to work here, if it is going to realize, will go somewhere in between 20 to 30 people, and their jobs will
Mainly be
maybe be one
veterinarians
tour guide,
and people
yes.
who take care of the place itself, and more or less those people will be coming from the Batu Hiu area themselves, so to improve the economical situation of that area.
And last one. Oh, that's it. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you to SMA Edu Global Bandung, Indonesia for the presentation.
Test.
Test.
For the last team, I would like to invite Sekolah Menengah Sains Tengku Muhammad Faris Petra to present.
Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever thought about carbon emission caused by urban tourism? Well, whether yes or no, I request for your attention to the screen. Ladies and gentlemen, carbon emission is a worldwide issue that will never reach the end in our generation today. But before that, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very pleasant day I bid to honorable judges, respected opponent, and members of the floor. Coming from Sekolah Menengah Sains Tengku Faris Petra, my name is Muhammad Hazim, and here is my worthy partner, Kasih Hajaratul Maimunah, with the help of our technical assistant, Tengku Haris Daniel, and our reporter, Aranin Batrisha, will be presenting about urban bloom, micro-algae driven carbon capture for eco-friendly tourism infrastructure. And we are under SDG 9, which is industries, innovation, and infrastructure. Before we go further into this matter, let's have a proper understanding about our keywords, which is urban tourism. Maybe some of you didn't even heard about urban tourism yet. Okay, according to United Nations World Tourism Organization, urban tourism refers to tourism activities that happen in cities or towns where the economy focuses on service and industries. Okay, let's take a look at urban tourism in Malaysia, specifically in Kuala Lumpur. In 2023, Kuala Lumpur has recorded approximately 22.23 million tourist arrivals, showing an increase in nearly 17 million tourists compared to the previous year. And this will be the reason why do we choose Kuala Lumpur, because it's the most popular urban tourism spot in Malaysia.
Now let's take a look at the reality of Kuala Lumpur right now. So when many tourists come flocking in Kuala Lumpur, what this leads to is one neglected consequence. Perhaps some of you don't know what is the neglected consequence here is. Now let me tell you the answer. The answer is the increase in carbon emission. So you might be wondering, what exactly is the correlation between carbon emission and urban tourism here? We say that the answer mainly lies in accommodation, where accommodation could lead to high energy consumption. According to Ricarte in 2019, energy consumption could be in the form of lighting, appliances, air conditioning, and even water heating. Now let's take a look at energy consumption alone caused by urban tourism. Energy consumption is responsible for nearly 60% of carbon dioxide emission. And as you can see, carbon emission grew by urban tourism grew by 30% in 2024 from 2019 alone. As you can see, the carbon emission is extremely detrimental, especially in Kuala Lumpur right now. However, acknowledge that Kuala Lumpur is pursuing low carbon society blueprint 2030, where Kuala Lumpur strive to be a world-class metropolis with the aim to have a 70% reduction in carbon dioxide emission by 2024. At the same time, we have SDG 9.4 target, which is to upgrade all industries and infrastructure for sustainability by 2030. However, ladies and gentlemen, IQAir has reported that the most polluted city in Malaysia right now is Kuala Lumpur, with an air quality index or AQI of 62 in 2024 alone. Let the fact speaks itself. We can already see how exactly are we going to achieve our aims in 2030. Let's see if this is the reality in 2035.
And here's our problem statement that we aim to tackle, which is high risk of carbon dioxide emission in Kuala Lumpur due to booming urban tourism that is not eco-friendly. And here's some our article that show how urban tourism contribute to the carbon emission. And our project has three main goals. First, to analyze carbon emission produced by 5 big hotels in Malaysia, in Kuala Lumpur. And second, to assess public acceptance of green infrastructure. And lastly, to propose a micro-algae based rooftop system as a carbon absorption solution.
To fulfill our first objective, which is to analyze the carbon dioxide emission from 5 upscale hotels in Kuala Lumpur, we have picked multiple hotels in Kuala Lumpur, which is first Hilton Kuala Lumpur, where in 2022, the total carbon emission is 15,129.709 metric tons. Next is Sunway Putra Hotel, where in 2023, the total emission is 419,193 tons. Grand Hyatt Hotel, where in 2023 the total emission is 1,092 per metric tons of carbon dioxide. Next is Oasia Suites Kuala Lumpur, where in 2022 and 2023 combined, the total emission is 52,849 tons. And lastly, we have Intercontinental Hotel, where in 2023, the total emission is 495.94 metric tons of carbon dioxide. So what exactly can we infer through our analysis of the total carbon emission from these 5 upscale hotels in Kuala Lumpur here? We found that the total carbon emission from hotels in Kuala Lumpur are extremely high every year, which proves our problem statement that urban tourism is the cause to a high rise in carbon emission right now. Next is our methodology, where our methodology consists of 2 components. First is our questionnaire, and second is the experiment. First, in terms of our questionnaire, what we did is we distributed our questionnaire to 100 stakeholders. First is to gather data, and second, to understand people's behaviors and opinions towards our problem statement, which is the rise in carbon emission because of booming urban tourism that is happening in Kuala Lumpur right now. Next is in terms of our experiment, we designed a comparative experimental setup on microalgae specifically using simple photobioreactors.
And let's take a look at our first methodology, which is questionnaire. From the question that they think tourists are generally aware of the carbon emission they contribute during traveling, and we found out that 43.7% of the respondents believe that tourists are not aware of the carbon emission they generate while traveling.
Next question, we asked that how exactly do they think we can help achieve the eco-friendly urban tourism, which is our aim in today's presentation. Most of the respondents believe that implementing energy-efficient infrastructure is critical to ensure the survivability rate of eco-friendly urban tourism here. Next, our methodology in terms of experiment, I'll be highlighting our experimental framework here, where our objectives is to determine the effectiveness of microalgae-based system in capturing carbon dioxide when installed on rooftops, windows, or benches, for example, in urban settings specifically. So the materials that we use are first cultured microalgae, specifically Chlorella vulgaris, and second is carbon dioxide source, where we rely on ambient air in high traffic areas to mimic the urban spot in which is Kuala Lumpur in this case.
Maybe some of you didn't know what is microalgae. Okay, microalgae is a tiny organism. Microalgae is tiny organism that function like a plant, but they are even more efficient in taking in carbon. They require only sunlight, carbon dioxide, water, and nutrition to grow. And we can grow them on ponds, bioreactor, and in rooftop. And why do we choose Chlorella vulgaris species? Because from our research, we found out that the first reason is it grows well in Kuala Lumpur rooftop climate. Second, it has a high capacity for absorbing carbon dioxide up to 74% and can capture up to 1.8 gram carbon dioxide per liter per day. And lastly, it has a fast growth rate leading to a higher rate of carbon dioxide uptake. So our proposed comprehensive solution is a rooftop integrated Chlorella vulgaris microalgae system.
So this is our digital experimental model, whereby we're going to have a microalgae based system that is going to be integrated on top of the rooftops of hotels, specifically in Kuala Lumpur right now. So what we have on top of rooftops is we're going to have solar panels, which are existing technologies to help the environment right now. However, what we're going to do is we're going to add photobioreactors, which are bioreactors or vessels, which provides an enclosed environment for these microalgae in order for them to do photosynthesis optimally. And then we have these microalgae, specifically Chlorella vulgaris, which is going to be inside of the photobioreactors. Next, we would have carbon dioxide inlet pipes in order to improve the effectiveness of these microalgae to absorb carbon dioxide. And we would have an air pump in order to circulate the carbon dioxide inside of these photobioreactors. And lastly, we'd have an MP tank, which is a nutrition tank for these microalgae in order for these microalgae to live optimally.
And let's take a look at a real-life example, which is BIQ, or Biointelligent Question House in Hamburg, Germany, where it's integrated an algae-based system and can reduce the amount of carbon dioxide by 6 tons per year. And here, from the real-life example, we can see that how efficient the microalgae absorb the carbon emission, and we can also implement this in our country, which specifically in Kuala Lumpur, to reduce the carbon emission. And from this idea, we got many benefits, such as in a high environmental, we can reduce the carbon and improve our urban air quality. Second, it can integrate it on rooftop easily. Lastly, it has a low maintenance and adds to eco-branding in tourism sector.
So what exactly can we conclude from our presentation here is by integrating microalgae based system on rooftops of hotels in Kuala Lumpur, specifically using Chlorella vulgaris, we'll be able to create a scalable and realistic solution in order to convert our urban tourism to become an eco-friendly urban tourism here. Because first of all, we'll be able to absorb significant carbon dioxide. Second, we'll be able to improve urban air quality and promote biophilic design, where users of the infrastructure are directly helping the environment through the infrastructure itself. And lastly, it aligns with SDG 9.4 target, which is to upgrade all industries and infrastructure for sustainability by 2030, and Kuala Lumpur's low carbon society blueprint 2030, which is to have a 70% reduction in carbon dioxide emission by 2030. So these are our references. And before ending our presentation, we would like to thank every single one of you for your attention. Let's strive for a greener and better Kuala Lumpur, where we want to reach SDG 9.4 target, which is to have sustainability in infrastructure by 2030, and Kuala Lumpur's low carbon society blueprint 2030, which is to have a 70% reduction in carbon dioxide emission by 2030. We believe that we should be a part of the solution, not part of the pollution. The earth is irreplaceable. Let's protect it together. Thank you.
I would like to invite participants to ask questions.
I just want to ask, since your model is on the rooftop, right? I just want to ask, like, if there's like any heavy rain or deforestation, what will your model be like? Is it still functioning or like, yeah?
Okay, so thank you so much for your question. To answer your question, my answer would be our photobioreactors are enclosed environment, which is going to help protect these microalgae from hitting rainwater, and, for example. So we say that when integrating these microalgae-based systems on rooftops specifically, we'll be able to have a fully functional system even after and in any climate, whether in Kuala Lumpur and so on and so forth. Yes. Hope that answers your question.
I would like to invite the judges to ask questions.
Hi, first of all, congratulations for a very comprehensive presentation. Okay, now I just have two related questions. First, how much improvement do you expect or foresee by applying this system in general? Yeah. And another one is how many hotels or high-rise building that need to apply the system in order for us to see the improvement of the CO2 in our air? Yeah, thank you.
All right.
Hotels, which are like big hotels, we have 5 upscale hotels with hotel chains. So how many?
Okay. Thank you so much for your question. To answer your first question, we would like to foresee a 30% reduction in the first year of implementing the microalgae-based system on rooftops of hotels. And to answer your second question, we would like, because of the 5 upscale hotels that are in Kuala Lumpur right now, they are the ones that are producing most of the carbon dioxide emissions right now. Hence, the reason why we believe that the microalgae-based system should be integrated on top of these 5 upscale hotels in Kuala Lumpur first, and then we will see and progress towards other hotels that are present in Kuala Lumpur right now. Okay, I hope that answers your question.
Okay, all right. Congratulations for your
Thank you.
presentation. All right. I have one question. Have you built a prototype for this model? Okay, and if yes, what was the result of this innovation?
Okay, to answer your question, thank you so much for your question, Miss. To answer your question, we haven't built a prototype, but what we did is we did an experiment on whether we'll be able to integrate these microalgae on top of the rooftop of hotels, because the objective of our experiment is to determine which urban location optimally supports the microalgae's carbon capture quality here. So what we did based on our experiment, we found out that the most optimal place in order for us to put these microalgae in are on top of the rooftops of hotels, specifically in Kuala Lumpur, to help with carbon dioxide emission. Yes. Okay, I hope that answers your question.
One question, technical,
Okay.
in relation to the research process.
All right.
All right. You mentioned 100 stakeholders answers your question. Who are
Yes.
they?
All right, so the 100 stakeholders that answered our questionnaire here are tourism stakeholders, for example, engineers, architects, tourists themselves, for example, and city planners. So we say that the reason as to why we believe that these people should be the ones to answer our questionnaire here is because they are directly linked or impacted by the urban tourism industry here, and they are going to help us in terms of integrating the microalgae-based system on rooftops of hotels.
So the questions to the engineers and the tourists are the same?
Okay, so the question for the engineers and the tourists are exactly the same. And because we want to measure their understanding on towards the problem statement that we have brought on in this project specifically, and our proposed solution just now. Yes.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Sekolah Menengah Sains Tengku Muhammad Faris Petra for the presentation.